Hey guys, how you doing? Just a quick update. I'm going to be doing a quick interview now with a gentleman named Harry Fear. He's in Gaza. He's a documentary filmmaker and activist. He's currently in Gaza right now, close to an area that's being bombed. He's reporting on his Ustream, which is called Operation Pillar of Cloud. We're going to be talking to him and asking him what's going on in Gaza. Apparently, there's bombings going on in the north and the middle and the south of Gaza. So we're going to get his take on it. He's there live right now reporting. Hello, Harry, and welcome to the show. How did you come to be in Gaza in the first place?
Well, I decided to return back to Gaza for a second reporting mission a couple of months ago. It just worked well in terms of my timetable this year, and I had a compulsion to come back and continue where I'd left off, which is to do what many people are not doing, what the mainstream media is not doing, which is reporting some basic truths about the situation that's afflicting Gazans. So I ended up here on a reporting mission, intending to cover with video documentaries and reports and articles the basics of the normal suffering of the Palestinian people. And it was unimaginable that they would launch another war like this, which we're now caught up in reporting instead.
Right. And you've done other documentaries about the Gaza situation?
Yeah, that's right. I've made, I don't know how many videos about the situation in Gaza now, probably a dozen or something like this. I've worked in South Africa making documentaries too. Yes, indeed.
Wow. Where can people go to watch those documentaries? Or can they order them?
People should go to GazaReport.com for all of my content relating to Gaza. People should go to harryfear.tv for most of my videos that are released into the public domain.
Okay, just so everybody knows the groundwork of what's going on right now currently in Gaza. You're in Gaza. The building behind you was hit by a rocket just 10 minutes ago. And you just recently went up on the roof to check and see what was going on. Did you see anything that was going on right now?
Well, it was about 20 minutes ago that this building shook, that the door opened ajar as a result of that, and that we believe that the building next door to us was struck. Obviously, we haven't gone out to actually check whether that's the case, because that's an endangerment of us. But we will try and get details about that tomorrow, or if we can. Although, having said that, tomorrow Israel has told us that it will have launched a ground invasion of the Gaza Strip. So we don't know how things are going to proceed. Yes, indeed, we went onto the roof a few moments ago and we saw 3 Israeli warships illuminated. Those are the 3 that we could make out. We also saw a Palestinian fisherman's boat, unbelievably, surreally, actually trying to fish at 5 a.m. in a war zone.
That's the desperate situation that they're in, though.
Exactly, because the economic situation here is so dire on a normal basis that Palestinian fishermen are putting themselves in extreme danger. On a normal basis, they risk being shot at or their boat being sunk. But today, they risk being basically blasted by Israeli warships. So indeed, as you say, it shows the desperation of the economic situation here. Just to give you some statistics, 75% of the youth population suffers from unemployment. Most of the adult population suffers from unemployment. That are employed suffer from underemployment. The situation is very grave economically here in the Gaza Strip.
Could you explain what's going on in Gaza as far as the attack right now, break it down to the north, the middle, and the south?
Of course. In the last 1 hour, things have quietened up a little bit, which obviously comes as a kind of double-edged sword. You don't know whether that's the quiet before the storm or whether things are coming down for a longer period of time. The north, middle, and southern parts of the Gaza Strip have all been targeted since yesterday, 5 p.m., when this started. That was just before sunset on the 14th of November that this started. Since then, 130 plus Palestinians have been injured, 13 have been killed at least. There have been dozens of air raids. There have been attacks also from Israeli naval vessels. As you just reported, we've had strikes near to our building here. People all around the Gaza Strip I've been speaking to have been suffering direct experiences of the Israeli violence inflicted on the Strip tonight. A friend of mine, one of the people who are keeping us updated, who lives 5 minutes drive from here, was actually struck onto her feet by the blast of an Israeli attack tonight. That was about an hour and a half to 2 hours ago.
Was there any pretext or lead up to this? Like, was there any warning that this was going to happen leading up the last couple of weeks?
No, there was absolutely no conceivable warning in the respect of what this was happening. I mean, okay, in the last couple of weeks there has been a gradation in terms of the violence. Things have been looking more serious, but there was no clear precursor that Operation Cast led to. Operation Pillar of Cloud was due to be launched. I mean, there are some analysts that said, look, this is likely to happen, etc., because of the geopolitical situation and also the Israeli national political situation with respect to its elections. But there were no concrete reasons to believe that that was going to be engendered in a new war. But that is what has happened.
Okay. Does this have all the earmarks of escalating?
This has every single earmark indication of escalating, I'm afraid to say, and every single Gazan I spoke to has told me to stay in my room in my apartment, not just in my apartment, just not in my building, but in my room of my apartment. And everyone I've spoken to says that this is Operation Cast 2. This is another war, another impending massacre on the Gaza Strip. I'm sorry to report something so grave, but that is the reality right now at 15 minutes past 5 a.m. here in Gaza.
Whether you're going to get this sort of reporting in the mainstream or whether it's going to be watered down, I mean, who knows? But I would think it would be. I mean, you're reporting live on the ground in Gaza, and the people there are fishing during a war. You know, it's
Exactly.
surreal.
It really is surreal, and that's why we mistook the boat for an Israeli naval vessel, because their lights are similar to the Israeli warships. But it is unbelievable. I mean, it really is unbelievable. And I think, you know, fishermen trying to catch fish, you know, 4 a.m. in a war zone, it really is almost comedic. But this shows the gravity and desperation of the people here in Gaza, Scott.
Is there any information about what the Egyptians are doing?
Okay, we've had some inside information from military sources that we have personal connections with, who have told us that the Egyptian president has spoken with the United States President Barack Obama. We've also heard that commandos and Egyptian tanks have mobilized into the Sinai Desert that borders with Israel and Gaza.
Are there any reports of emergency responders or crews being attacked by the Israeli, as they were during the 2008?
Not yet, Scott, but if there's any report like that, I will flag it up and get it to you.
Okay. And does this affect all of Gaza?
This affects every single part of Gaza and every single human being in Gaza.
Wow. So this is this looks like the war that has sort of been talked about over the last since 2009. That they've been warning that this could escalate to this point. It looks like now is the time.
Well, when I was in the West Bank in January 2010, peace activists, Israeli peace activists, were doing preventative advocacy to try and prevent Israel from managing to get away with starting Operation Cast 2. I remember clearly my Israeli peace activist friend was saying we've got to campaign now to prevent that from happening, to try and avoid a political situation in which Israel would be able to do that. Well, now, 2.5 years later, Israel is doing it.
Okay, I just want to let everybody know that Harry is doing a live stream on Ustream. If you could give your channel, that way everybody could come and check out and see what you're doing.
Of course, the Ustream channel is called Operation-Pillar-of.Cloud. Okay, if someone can make a bit.ly link, mention it to me on Twitter. Make it good. Make it bit.ly /op pillar of cloud or something thematically and textually relevant. That would be great. Then I can give it to Scott and we can get that link trending on Twitter for the feed.
Good idea. All right. Are you worried that if the ground invasion happens, that your area is going to be affected? and in turn you, I mean, because you're putting yourself out there doing the Ustream, that might actually help you because you're live. But are you worried about...
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, I think as long as we can stay on the air, that our personal security situation in this building is safer. Because obviously Israel is scared of the world knowing what's going on. And so long as that's going on, I think we're in a safer situation. So to answer your question, Scott, if the land invasion operation starts in the next, before lunchtime on the 15th of November, I envisage that within 10 minutes from this position there will be Israeli tanks and forces inside Gaza. That every single report that we've heard about the land invasion corroborates that projection. And that means that within 15 minutes from here, there will be Israeli tanks reoccupying the Gaza Strip. Well, yes, of course, this is a serious problem for our personal security. We'll have to be very, very careful about how we manage our personal security. Okay, great. We've got a tiny URL. tinyurl.com/pillarcloud, PILLAR cloud.
Perfect.
tinyurl.com/pillarcloud. Thank you to Reading Palestine Solidarity Campaign UK.
That's great. So you said the Egyptian tanks were spotted?
No, we have Egyptian military sources who told us from inside the Egyptian military that commanders and tanks are approaching the Sinai. Scott, can I help you anymore?
Yes, I have. I do have one more question. Is there any reported use of phosphorus weapons?
We have anecdotal report of internationally prohibited weapons, including white phosphorus, but they're anecdotal reports, and obviously it'll take literally weeks for those to be substantiated by international organizations.
Okay, great. Well, thanks for your quick interview. I appreciate what you're doing. You can check it out on SpectrumRadioNetwork.com. I'll also have it on a Universal Spectrum forum, and you can watch it there.
Thanks a lot, Scott. Have a good evening.
Okay, I'm probably going to contact you again tomorrow just to do an update.
Okay, that's fine.
Have a great one, and thank you for your time.
You're welcome.